All right, I wanted to make a little video for a minute about big things. So I've got this trip to live the dream. And the reasons that I've made this plan, I have a dream that's based on my ability and my limits. Watch this, you'll understand. I'm hurting, but I'm winning. And you're winning with me. All right, I wanted to make a little video for a minute about big things. So I've got this trip to live the dream. I'm not going to get into the plan. I want to talk about, briefly go over some of the disabilities that I'm struggling with. I do have a disability income. It's not big, which is why it's taken me a long time to put together gear and so forth. And I'm also not hooked up properly with the right medical care, even though I've got Medi-Cal. And I've yet to find a primary caregiver that will jump in with their sleeves rolled up to tackle a whole nest of stuff. So the reasons that I've made this plan, I'd love to be settled down and find a life. Right now I'm not finding it here. So I don't want to die like this, spend the rest of my life, 5, 10, 20, 25 years, I don't know, right here trying to do what I'm doing. Because it was never meant to be more than a waypoint to get to my dreams, my life. And my life is, in my mid-50s, becoming increasingly difficult. I spend 2 to 4 hours a day managing my disabilities. I've had to, like the arthritis, okay, so this is cycling and triking and building up. This is what I want to talk about, why I'm building up strength and why it's not just like training like other people. I'm maintaining a balance with this arthritis. It took me 30 years of increasing arthritis to do so. And I've had that balance for about a decade. It's been advancing since I was about 13. So the arthritis itself has over 40 years on it. And I'm not going to get all into it. Let's just say I have the top 3 most debilitating and painful types of arthritis, because that's known in medical science. That's what I've been told. And I've come a really long way with it. I'm functioning. I've learned how to function in the world with it. But these arthritis complexities come as only like a slice in a big pie of what it means to have a suppressed immune system, compromised immune system, I guess is what the State Department called it at birth, because I was born in a military hospital, and autoimmune disorders. I'm underdiagnosed and oversuffering and undertreated and overconfident, maybe, in my ability to get through disabilities that other people are going on a regular basis to get expensive treatments through their insurance. I'm getting what I can, not as much as I can, as far as medical treatment goes. But just to give you an idea about some of my medical concerns when I'm traveling are going to be the arthritis and my physical exertion. So I want to spend the time talking about that, and I want to spend some time talking about the difficulty with my immune system. And I want to spend time talking about how that affects my planning for the future. First of all, this arthritis has made it harder and harder until I couldn't work. And then I had a really long haul before I got on disability, and really long haul on disability until I got to a point where I was going back to college, doing other things, and living a life again. They say a laborer's body wears out at about the age of 30. And I was a laborer from a younger age, and I wore out long before 30 because I have this. But I worked physically with my body, and I still do as much as I can. I try to keep myself strong. So where I'm at now is, in order to live this last decade, I've learned so much about what's going on with my disabilities and how to treat them. I found ways of talking to doctors and to nurses, and when I'm in clinics, of asking questions, finding out what's going on. And now that we live in the wonderful world where we can have AI research things for us, I've been able to put some things together. Basically, I'm an Agent Orange baby. When they say that when you have cancer and you've survived cancer that you've paid, I'm paying, and I've been paying, and I'm going to continue to pay. I don't mention most of my suffering on social media. Right now I have dental pain, and throughout, from old wounds in my jaw and infections and things that contribute to the arthritis. I have problems in my cervical spine that contribute. So through these I get migraines, other things like that. This, so usually just to keep my head warm or cool or whatever. And sometimes I wear a bandana to put some pressure on my head because of those migraines. So that's just an example of how one part that you're interacting with here by watching me is affected by this arthritis and by autoimmune. The arthritis especially gets in my jaws and it's all in my spine. It was in my hands was when I first started noticing it, and then in my knees and elbows popping as a teenager, things like that. But it's to the point now, especially between injuries and other arthritis, that I have a very difficult time with physical work. And so this applies to my tricycle because my tricycle was purchased because of my arthritis. I don't like driving anymore, it hurts me. Trying to ride a bicycle was for a long time dangerous for me if I have trouble with my balance because of my neck or something. I'm not going to get into how I got into triking, but that's a cool story, and it's a really positive thing. It's a way for me to start traveling more than just, I could walk or take the bus or whatever, I could carry more than I could on the bus or whatever. To have a vehicle, a bike is better than not having a bike, right? And I have a trike, and it really works out for me. And as you've seen in my other videos, I really built it out, and I'm getting ready to take it on this trip. I'm going to start touring soon and camping. I've been going out with gear and trying it out with the trike, gearing up on this plan to live the dream, which means that I'm already living the dream. I'm having a great time doing it. And it's important that I do because it's very difficult for me to get through each and every day. If I hadn't matured with this chronic pain complex that I have from this arthritis, I wouldn't be able to push myself through it. I would not have enough experience dominating my own pain, letting go of my own emotions, and detaching from the fact that I'm just suffering a disability, the way that most people might see it. Because I'm inside of it, it hurts, and it's limiting, and it's frustrating. And I have to accept a lot of things as a disabled person that I'm not in a position where I can do what I need to do to make enough money to really live the dream the way that somebody else might want to. I have a dream that's based on my ability and my limits. And I'm planning on riding a lot further than my limits. And that's why training is important, and it hurts. And right now I'm sore. It's about 11 miles today. Maybe a little bit more. And yesterday I was down. It hurt, but I went for a walk anyway. Because I had to push through the tightness and build myself up. I'll tell you what, today, triking, my neck is really stiff right now. Triking today was good because I triked the day before yesterday, like 12 miles. Is that it? And I triked 2 days in a row, and I did a great job on both of them. And I'm maintaining the trike and trying to live with it as a concept of being in the saddle. So it's a psychological training. Getting through the pain isn't just all of it. Pushing my body but not hurting it. It's taking a lot of wisdom, training, and decades of experience within my own skin. Not to screw myself up. And so this is why this trike trip is important to me. Because it gives me a chance to physically reclaim what I can of my health and fight back. On this trip, I'm aware from my travels already that every time I spend more time in a new town, the closer contact I have to a new population, the faster I am exposed to new pathogens, the faster I get sick. Part of the exercising is making sure I don't end up getting bad bronchitis. That has to do with my immune system. If I can keep myself exercised instead of lying down, I end up not going into pneumonia. most of the time. COVID was pretty hard a couple times, and I am struggling post-COVID. I have a balance with my diabetes. I'm trying to keep my gut health up, being able to eat a lot of foods that are in the supermarket. Thinking, how am I going to get my body in shape to overcome this arthritis and to overcome some of the difficulties of getting sick? I've got allergies too, like so many of us. And camping and traveling and stuff is going to expose me to a lot of mold and mildew, which I have allergies to. And to bacteria, which I'm struggling sometimes to deal with. So these are all things I have to keep in mind when traveling. Why travel, Grant? Because I'm not going to sit here and wallow in my disability for the rest of my life. I want to have a better life than this. I am strategizing the way that I do. I spend a lot of time thinking because I hurt. And so my challenge is to get myself active enough with these disabilities that I've got a realistic pace that I can travel with. Days down, I have to plan in days down. I have to have my pharmacopoeia. I don't have all these pill bottles. I've got some. I've got my naproxen. I've got all these supplements, nutritional supplements, balancing out my diabetes and keeping me strong, vitamins and stuff so that I don't have, so that I can keep a lot of disabling conditions in remission. I'm struggling with this lymphocytic cancer. I didn't want to mention that, but I am. You can see it. You can see it on my body in some of my videos. I'm trying not to, I stopped videoing for a while when my eye was really swollen. These are all concerns about how am I going to vlog and trike-pack. So now I'm going to talk, the last thing I'm going to talk about is how does this affect the trip? Why do this, Grant? Why not stay where you're at? Okay, well, why not find a different situation? I might. My mind is still open to traveling anywhere. The point is to be able to travel and take everything I need with me. It's like living out of a backpack, except for I've got a backpack for me and a backpack for the dog that aren't on my back. And I've got a full camp system so that I can actually eat groceries and carry them around with me. I can be warm, I can be dry, I can be cool, and I can treat the dog the same. And hopefully pick up a puppy along the way. So, how far am I going to go? I don't know. Upwards of 1,000 miles. I've got an offer to get a truck to drive down there next autumn, and I might take that offer up. I really don't want to drive them. I'm not going to get into that right now, but it might be the smartest thing to do. But the trip is what I really am yearning for. I'm yearning not just to push myself and find my limits and get past my limits, which I'm doing now, and it hurts. But I've got to worry about when I'm on the trip, what's going to happen. Am I going to be able to afford a couple nights at a campsite? That's my first plan, because I don't think I can afford to keep staying in motels, maybe one or twice. If it takes me 2 months on the trip, it's going to take me longer because I'm going to stop places. So that's another thing I'm thinking. As I keep tapping this part of my brain, because I store all this stuff up in here after thinking and thinking for weeks about it. I'm going to need places to camp and to stay, and I'm going to try to. That's one of the reasons I want to go to the coast first. Another reason is I don't want to have to go through the valley. I don't think it's going to be a good ride. I think that even though it's harder with the terrain, going to the coast is going to make life a lot more enjoyable, make the journey worth the effort and the pain. And the months and months building up just to do it, and then all the weeks to do it. So there's risks. There's a lot of risks in that traveling like this, especially when you're traveling alone, and I haven't found anybody to go with me. I have about 200 miles to make the first trip to the coast, and if I make it to the coast and I stay there for some reason, I'm okay with that. Or if I find a situation going down the coast, I'm okay with that, because once I hit north of LA, my opportunities are going to dry up real fast, except for what I can find. I'm going to want to stay out of the populations as much as possible. So this was supposed to be a short video, and I guess that's going to end up being almost 20 minutes. That's not that long, but I needed to at least put out there what I'm dealing with on a daily basis, it's so hard and it's so expensive for me. I'm succeeding. I'm succeeding in overcoming some really bad health problems. And that's important to me, and it's important that I take people with me that understand what I'm going through. So as you see me doing things, I'm not just recreating. I'm overcoming a really difficult life. And I have the opportunity to make a good adventure out of it. And that's why I'm bringing you along, so that you can see it's possible, so that in your own way you can do it too. And then just maybe when I really need it, you'll be there to help me, so that I can get through mine. Anyway, yeah, I'm pretty screwed up, man. I haven't brought up all the broken bones I've had and other things going on. Just my two real big ones: the arthritis complex and the autoimmune problems. And I'm going to get through them. It means that I'm going to go slower and the trip's going to take longer, because I'm going to haul a bunch of junk, all this weight and bulk, to treat my disabilities as we go, because I have to treat them at least 2 hours a day, which means that I'm going to make a schedule. I was thinking about that this week, how to make a schedule to treat everything that I need to get us into camp and to sleep, to make it a schedule where I'm tracking throughout the day. And I'll get it. I'll get there. I'm training. I'm in training. And if you've watched all of this, you care about what's going on with my situation. That's awesome. Sorry to make kind of a downer thing, but I needed to talk about my disability, because when I'm hurting in the future, if you've watched this, you'll understand. I'm hurting, but I'm winning. And you're winning with me. Thank you for being here. Thanks more to me than you know.
Bless you for being here, being a part of the journey. You rock. And you know you rock. Sometimes you just need to hear how much you rock.